The macrocosmic and microcosmic parallels between descriptions of the Earth and our human body, with specific focus on the North Pole and the brain. Prominent historical, mythological, and scientific descriptions of the North Pole include these main features: a whirlpool or vortex, a rock or mountain, a halo or fountain, 4 rivers or currents coinciding with 4 lands, an eye or hole. Let's explore. Feature 1, the whirlpool or vortex, has been described as Havelgamere, known as the navel of the world, the central vortex of Earth, and the whirlpool or fountain within Meru. It's been said that every 6th hour the great whirlpool reverses its direction, alternating between drawing in and expelling the world's oceans, thereby creating their currents and tides. This description is echoed in the human body by the flow and exchange of CSF and Kundalini energy, because rishis observe a 6-hour Kundalini cycle, and on average the entire volume of CSF in the body is replaced 4 times per day, i.e. every 6 hours. This shows a clear parallel between the 6th hour depiction of the currents at the North Pole in the outer world and the 6-hour alchemical currents of the inner world. Another description of this whirlpool or vortex is as follows. In the midst of the 4 countries is a whirlpool into which empty 4 indrawing seas which divide the north. The water rushes round and descends into the earth, just as if one were pouring it through a filter funnel. Right under the pole lies a bare black rock in the midst of the sea. Its circumference is almost 33 French miles, and it is all of magnetic stone. It is as high as the clouds, one can see all round it from the sea, and it is black and glistening, and nothing grows thereon, for there is not so much as a handful of soil on it. This leads us to feature 2, the rock or mountain, which has been given many names throughout history, such as Mount Meru, which is known as a magnetic mountain aligned with the stationary star Polaris. Within the name Meru, we find a parallel to the human body, because a variation of the name Meru is Smeru. The word Smeru is synonymous with grease, oil, marrow, and medule, as in medulla. The spinal medulla is a hub for the majestic, creative, greasy CSF or protoplasm that brings life to the body. Oil is equated with protoplasm because oil in its various consistencies is a symbol for life force energy, and protoplasm is the actual essence of manifest life. It is made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Its name is protoplasm, and it is not only the structural unit with which all living bodies or cells start life, but with which they are subsequently built up. The outer oil, or Smeru, at the North Pole correlates with Earth's plasma fountain, and the inner oil, or Smeru, correlates with cerebrospinal fluid. In Hinduism, the spinal cord is known as Meru Danda, an extension of the cosmic spine said to be parallel with Mount Meru. The ascent of the soul through different levels of Meru Danda is parallel to the ascent of life force energy through the chakras in the body. In general, the vertical dimension of the universe represents the path of ascent or descent of the soul through different worlds and different states of consciousness. Feature 2, the rock or mountain, has also been described as Rupus nigra, meaning black rock. Reflecting this, the human brain has a region known as the substantia nigra, meaning black substance. It secretes a dark-coloured substance called neuromelanin. Theories propose that neuromelanin acts as an energetic conductor, facilitating the movement of Kundalini energy through the body and enhancing its flow as it awakens and ascends along the spine. Neuromelanin is associated with dopamine and feelings of joy and bliss. There are 4 dopamine pathways near the substantia nigra, corresponding with 4 directional currents of CSF or living water. This echoes the 4 rivers described at the North Pole beautifully. Similarly to descriptions of Rupus nigra, the substantia nigra is said to have magnetic qualities. Research suggests that neuromelanin has the ability to bind and evacuate toxic metals from the body, which helps to prevent the buildup of harmful metals in the brain. What's even more impressive, though, is that melanin turns light into energy. It does this by splitting water into parts. A tiny life-sustaining molecule called hydrogen gas, H2, is made when water, H2O, is split by neuromelanin, and this gas travels through our body's central nervous system. H2 is a microscopic manifestation of what's known as the cube of space. This hydrogen gas is nature's main conduit for carrying energy throughout the universe, both in the macrocosm and the microcosm. Both the Islamic and Christian faiths and many others have cubes at the center of their teachings, with the cross being an unfolded cube. The cube of space is also found in the Sefer Yetzirah as a model of how invisible energies interact with one another to create visible worlds. Another description for feature 2, the rock or mountain, is Mount Zion, the mountain of God. Psalm 48 says that Zion is the joy of the whole earth in the north. The name Zion contains the root word ion. Ions are charged particles, the essence of all creation. The solar wind is essentially a plasma of charged ions poised to coalesce and manifest. This creative plasma is seen as the northern lights, which we'll talk more about later. Suffice to say, the northern lights display the plasma fountain of Earth. It's the entry point or funnel of cosmic influences, ions, into the earth and all its forms. The microcosmic parallel for Earth's plasma fountain is the door of Brahma in the skull, also known as the fontanelle, meaning fountain. The fontanelle is an entry point for cosmic influences, ions into the brain and body. The next descriptions for feature 2, the rock or mountain, are Batu Hitam Depusat Bumi Yang Data, meaning black rock at the center of the earth, and Insuvla Magnetive, which is Latin for island of magnets. We've looked at how the black rock bears resemblance with the brain's substantia nigra, but there's also an uncanny correspondence with magnetite crystals in the brain. Magnetite crystals are microscopic cubes of magnetic substance, and the brain's cube-shaped ethmoid bone at the north of the body contains a significant amount of magnetite. The ethmoid bone has been referred to as the keystone of the cranial floor because it locks everything into place. The book of Exodus describes the altar in the Holy of Holies as a cube also. Magnetite crystals sense electromagnetic signals and react to them, allowing external energies to directly influence the brain and body, meaning that the movements of planets, stars, and the moon do indeed affect our inner alchemy. For example, when the moon is in your sun sign, you receive astral influences bespoke to your personal DNA. This is the sacred secretion time phase. There is also a black rock said to be formed of magnetite inside the Kaaba, meaning cube in Mecca. This holy magnetic stone is set in the corner of the cube as the keystone. The setting for the magnetite is a Vesica Pisces, which represents creation, generation, and fertility as the shape appears during cell birth and replication. Muslims refer to the Kaaba as the house of God. Their cube symbolizes the cube of space, which embodies all manifest forms, as seen by the nesting of the Platonic solids inside and around its structure. The Kaaba at Mecca seems to signify Rupus Nigra, which is the true center or axis of the earth at the North Pole. The Kaaba is said to contain 360 idols, signifying the 360 degrees of the circle or compass. Every day, thousands of Muslims gather to walk in circles around the Kaaba, and this ritual precisely reflects the rotation of stars, tracing circles around Earth's rotational axis, like a compass. It also reflects the Kundalini initiation, which involves the transformation of the human into the divine, because the turning cube forms the dodecahedron ascension vehicle. So by walking around the Kaaba, they acknowledge the path of creative spirals and transcending material consciousness. Many legends claim that the black rock of the North Pole is also composed of magnetite, a type of naturally magnetic lodestone responsible for the force that compels compass arrows to point true north. The force of magnetism was first discovered through the study of magnetite. Planet Venus is associated with magnetite. In fact, magnetism, Venus, and water are all associated with the divine feminine, creation, and fertility. Venus has been known by many names in different cultures and languages. For example, the Greek name Phosphorus for the planet Venus simply means light bearer. Venus is referred to as the evening star when it appears in the western sky after sunset. The evening star was personified by the Greek god Hesperus, said to bring golden apples from Hesperanopia. Similarly, Venus is called the morning star when it appears in the eastern sky before sunrise. Biblically, the morning star is known as Lucifer, which is simply the Latin Bible's translation of Phosphorus, the light bearer. Every 8 years, Venus completes 13 orbits around the Sun, and its cycle forms a perfect 5-pointed star or pentagram of sacred geometry, just like the one Da Vinci used to symbolize man. This beautiful form is also known as the petals of Venus. The pentagram and pentagon are often demonized, but are a blueprint for life. This is why Venus is commonly associated with creation, love, and fertility. Each side of the dodecahedron is a perfect pentagon. The light world structure of the DNA helix is a turning dodecahedron. DNA is the coding for all life. All the proteins in the human body are pent-shaped too, and even every molecule of water embodies the pentagon or fivagon of life. Creation literally has pentagons weaved all the way through its marvelous layers. The nesting of the cube, dodecahedron, and other platonic solids illustrates interconnectedness in the cosmos and also signifies spiritual evolution, since the cube represents the material or manifest realm and the dodecahedron represents the spiritual, energetic realm. Again, the turning and perfecting of the cube creates the dodecahedron. The dodecahedron is touted as the bridge that connects and harmonizes both worlds. Depictions of the North Pole often include a bridge or rainbow to higher etheric realms too. Both related to the color green, the heart chakra and Venus also correlate with the bridge to the higher realms. This imagery stems from the encoding of DNA that occurs at the green heart center. This center point is where the cube of materiality transforms into the dodecahedral DNA helix. DNA is the master of transformation, hence why the dodecahedron is considered the ascension vehicle. Our thoughts can rewrite our genetic DNA codes via the Venusian heart center, as proven by epigenetics. As the planet of love, Venus is linked with heart activations and oxytocin secretion, which, as you probably know, are the catalyst for pineal metabolism and the upgrade of melatonin into the biochemicals of enlightenment. Heart expansions in the body are echoed by the green phosphorus hues of the northern lights at the center of Earth, because the vertical sides of the DNA helix are formed of phosphorus also. Venus also correlates with the black rock or magnetite of the North Pole, since magnetite from Venus carries a unique energy signature that is believed to manifest as rupes nigra and becomes a conduit for Venusian energies of love, fertility, and generation on the earth and within our being. Some suggest that Venus's magnetic resonance affects the earth and all of creation, and even go so far as to say there would be no organic life without Venus. Feature 3. The halo of the North Pole is sometimes described as a plasma fountain. As stated by scientists, the plasma fountain at the North Pole forms part of the Earth's electromagnetic torus field. It can be seen as a display of green lights. We are made of cosmic energy, ions, as is the Earth. First ions take form as atoms, then atoms combine to form molecules, molecules transform to create cells, and organize to create the body and the macrocosm also. So Earth's plasma fountain is like a funnel or vortex for the manifestation of life, collecting stellar and planetary influences and drawing them in to Earth's toroidal field. Northern Lights is basically a nickname for Earth's mostly green halo of light caused by the forces of its toroidal field. On older maps, the Northern Lights are labelled in Latin, Capitis Viridis. Capitis means north, and viridis means green. The root vir, as in virile and virgin, means to turn, giving us a really great historical illustration of this turning toroidal green phosphorescent plasma at the crown of the earth and of our heads. If we break down the word Antarctica, we also have ant as in reverse and arc as in the arc of the torus field. All of the etymologies point to these energy fields. When phosphorus is exposed to oxygen, it glows green. Green means go. Venus, or Lucifer, is the green phosphorescent planet. If you've read Elevation, you'll know that Lucifer, Venus or Phosphorus, is also associated with Christ. For in Revelation 22:16, Jesus Christ says, I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. For a more in-depth look, please watch this previous video. Phosphorus is the second most abundant mineral in the body and is absolutely integral for DNA coding and formation. Phosphorus is a creator of light in the body and promotes intellect, thinking, and higher reasoning. The moral of this gospel of flesh is to produce plenty of phosphorus by means of good eating and drinking. Those who say, let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die, are diametrically opposed to the Holy Scriptures. In fanning our inner green light phosphorus, we find our way to the Emerald City. Here we can clearly see our way home to Source, as Dorothy did. Gain courage, linked to kidney health like the lion, and activate the key heart chakra like the Tin Man, who was always getting stuck due to a lack of oil. The significance of phosphorus's epic green glow is also seen with the emerald tablets and the foresights of Bruno in the movie Encanto. All of the celestial bodies, including Venus, serve as emissaries, channeling atomic and elemental energies and potencies toward Earth. The influence of Venus, the phosphorus planet, coalescing with other star energies, supports the composition and coding of humankind. As the saying goes, we are made of stardust. Another name given to feature 3, the halo or fountain, at Earth's North Pole is Aurora Borealis, historically Hyperborea. According to the thesaurus of root words, hyper means beyond and bore has several synergistic meanings like shaft, axle, tree, or tunnel. So we can envision the shaft formed by Earth's torus as the tunnel to beyond, i.e. beyond the 3D manifest world. The Greek Boreas means north wind. And in mythology, a Hyperborean is someone who lives beyond the north, in the region of sunshine and everlasting spring, Eden. A bore is also a name meaning high tidal wave. And in Frozen 2, Elsa's identity is found beyond the tidal wave of the North Sea. The ancient depictions of a tree at the centre of Earth could be analogies for the trunk and arches formed by the Earth's toroidal energy field. Although magnetic anomaly theory suggests that there is indeed a physical mountain of magnetite at the North Pole responsible for attracting ions and forming and charging the Earth's toroidal energy field. Feature 4. The 4 rivers, winds or currents. There are plenty of examples showing Mount Meru as being surrounded by 4 directional rivers and 4 islands. So far we've seen how this relates to dopamine pathways from the substantia nigra and the 4 currents of CSF or Christ oil. The 4 islands are also echoed by the 4 sides of the cube of space and the skull's bones that slot together so perfectly to make the fontanelle. The Bible's creation story features 4 rivers too. This is coupled with theories that equate Eden with the hidden lands of the Hyperboreans at the North Pole. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became 4 heads. Now, no 2 metaphysical explanations of the 4 rivers are the same. Fillmore equates Euphrates with blood, and Carey links it with nerve fluid. Suffice to say, there are many comparable features of anatomy drawn to these 4 outer rivers. And now we come to feature 5, the eye or hole, which is reminiscent of the shaft, axle or tunnel of the Earth's torus field. Just like the pupil in the center of the eye, it appears like a black hole or an abyss. The truth is that every torus field has this feature, from the teeny tiny energy fields of blood cells to massive celestial bodies. The eye or nucleus of every organism, from microscopic to enormous, is its 0 point, where source or divine mind resides. 0 point energy is perfect, is everywhere, in the core of every living organism, and is completely balanced. It is true source, love, God. This exploration of the parallels between the North Pole and the body reveal a fascinating tapestry of interconnected features. The whirlpool finds resonance in the human body's Kundalini cycle and cerebral spinal fluid flow. The black rock draws parallels between the Earth's magnetic mountain, magnetite crystals, and the brain's neuromelanin acting as a conductor for life energy. The halo reveals the Earth's plasma fountain and its connection to phosphorus. The heart and DNA in the eye reflects the divine source present in every living organism, showcasing a harmonious interplay between outer and inner realms. The intricate connections between Earth and the human body underscore the idea of a unified existence, where the macrocosm and microcosm dance in synchrony. Thank you so much for watching. The regeneration calendar for 2024, which gives you your sacred secretion times at an easy glance, is now available. And as usual, the links to all of my books and other resources can be found in the description box below this video. May divine love manifest itself in you all, always and in all ways. Namaste.